Tanya today for the 21st day of Adar, Tuesday, page 44. The sin of a scholar who does not wage war and overcome his impulse at his battle, at his battle point, is greater than the sin of a sinner who is far from God. So someone that is close to God and does not wage a battle with his evil inclination is worse than the sinner that does not wage battle. They both don't put up a fight, but the scholarly Jew, the scholar that does not put up a fight, he is worse than the Jew that is far from Hashem.
And the reason is very simple. One doesn't know anything about halakha.
That's common sense, but we'll see why.
The other one knows, and he has no excuse because he knows that he's.
But we're not talking about him, the scholar sinning. He's not sinning. He's just not waging a war against his evil inclination. Meaning, evil says eat the cheesecake, so he eats the cheesecake. So he said, why don't you eat another one? It's already here. They already served it, so he eats another cheesecake. And then they offer a 7-layer cake. Why didn't you eat that one?
Yeah, but there's also the word overcome his impulse. So in other words, he may be fireable. He might give in to his.
He's giving into his impulse, but it's in permissible things. But even in permissible things, God is expecting you of putting up a fight. So all of the above mentioned calculation then can lead to one to conclude that he is no better than the Kal Shebekalim. Like the Kal Shebekalim, he too fails to wage war against his evil impulse when it is required of him. Yet this still does not explain the requirement that one consider oneself lower than every man. In what way is he worse than the Kal Shebekalim, the lowest of the lowest? In answer, the Alter Rebbe continues, Aval be'emes imu yodea sefer. Yodea sefer means somebody who knows a book. He read a few books in his life. Umachzik b'teras havai v'kirvas eleikim yachputz. However, if he is a scholar and upholds God's Torah and wishes to be close to God, גודל אבינו מנסה והשמוסה גודלו בכיף לכפליים ומה שאנו נלחם מסגבר על יצרי בערך ובכנס מלחמה עצומה נזכרת לאל. His sin is unbearably great and his guilt is increased manifold, for he is not waging war and not overcoming his impulse in a manner commensurate with the quality and nature of the war mentioned above that the Kal Shebekalim must face. It says, in order for the Kal Shebekalim, meaning the lowliest guy, the lowest of the lowest, the guy that is in the bottom of the pit, his fight with the evil inclination is a serious fight. For him to overcome the evil, he has to put a serious fight. It's not going to be easy. He has habits, they're very hard to get rid. It's the saying, in English they say, bad habits die hard. It's not easy to get rid of bad habits. If you have habits to go to sleep late and I tell you, okay, tonight you sleep at 10 o'clock, you see it's not going to be easy. If you have habits to wake up late, it's not going to be easy to start waking up early. I say, okay, up till now you woke up at 8 o'clock, I want you now to wake up at 4:30. Say it's going to be a big battle for you, right? And a guy that wakes up at 5, then 4:30, it's not going to be a big deal. If you have bad habits, it's very hard to change them. So this guy, the Kal Shebekalim, obviously has some serious issues to deal with. That's why we're calling him the guy that is in the bottom of the pit, Kal Shebekalim. But for him to win, he has to put up a serious fight. So why should he put a serious fight and the scholarly should not put a serious fight? The same way that we're expecting this guy to put up a serious fight, you should put up a serious fight as well. And if you're not doing it, his guilt is far greater than the guilt of the Kal Shebekalim, the most worthless of the street corner squatters who are remote from God and His Torah.
How do we expect this low life to be able to put a fight? You know, he hasn't received any training, any education. You know, I mean.
So it says that
what kind of challenge is that?
Any struggle that someone has that God put in front of somebody, I mean, he has the way, he has the capability of overcoming it. Yeah, otherwise, he wouldn't give it. He wouldn't give him the challenge.
Exactly.
But if you analyze the challenge of this guy, and you study his environment, you study his upbringing, you study his friends, you study his work, you study all the different things, all the parameters, and you see that for him to change, it's a major thing. For him to start to tell somebody, a guy that has issue with weight, tell him, okay, now on no more starch, no more bread. Want to see it. He's not going to last for a day, 2 days, he's not going to be able to. Unless he has a determination like a soldier, he's not going to be able to do it, right? It's very difficult.
I love bread. Why should I cut bread?
No, but even if he agrees, he says, you know what, it makes sense what you're saying. Let's try this diet. It's a good diet. A lot of people lost weight. Try it. It's going to last for a day or two, and then it's going to go back to the pasta and the bread and the...
Right.
Why? Because the habit was there already.
Habit is already
poison is ingrained.
Also, Rabbi, especially for doing tshuva, when you don't have an habit to do something in your life, then now you have to change and do the thing that you never did. It's very strange.
Right.
This is you. This is a new you. What is this guy?
I was just talking about somebody about meat, how bad meat and should stay away from meat and so on. And at the same time, I was making the person listen to a lecture where it gives him all the reason why not to eat meat. After that, the person says, why should I do that? I love meat. I'm going to continue eating meat. I don't care his opinion.
But you have to...
scientifically understood everything that was said.
Right.
There is not...
I know, but the problem is with these things, whenever it comes to food, there's 5 videos that will tell you why it's bad to eat meat, and then another 5 videos will tell you why it's good to eat meat. So you can't really get to the bottom of it. And a lot of these researches are being done by people that are pro this or pro that. So it's very hard.
Sometimes.
Yeah, so you have to really find out every time that there is a scientific research, you have to know who funded the scientific, who is funding the scientific. So those who tell you the milk is healthy for you, you investigate who is funding this scientific. So really, the truth is, that's why we got to listen to what the Rambam said. The Rambam says if you do everything in moderation, you'll be okay. It's better to eat something bad, the Rambam said, bad, and a little bit, than eat something good and healthy, but a lot of it. So he said the biggest issue that we have is overeating, is not eating the right and wrong. Obviously, it's better to eat the right than wrong, but if the quantities that you are consuming are so absorbent, it's too much, then that's where the sickness comes.
Yeah, but when there's obvious science supporting something, it's clear, and you can even...
But there's obvious signs that tell you, you go to the doctor, it tells you to give your son eggs, give your son cheese, give him good things. You tell, give him good things, give him chicken, give him meat, make him bigger. Today, the doctors are telling you this.
They don't know anything about nutrition. They take one course of nutrition, take 4 hours, and that's it.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying this right or wrong. I'm just saying that there's always scientific research here and scientific research there. So what should we do? Who should we believe? So he said, the same scientist will prove this, that tomorrow will prove you something else.
Well, you have also medical WebMD. You go to WebMD, you have all the articles written by doctors, by all the research is there. There's thousands of articles supporting something.
And today you have people that are in the... You see today people that are in their 90s and even 100 that they ate meat their whole life.
Yeah.
And smoke and drink.
It boggles my mind when I see a super fat person super fat person smoking and being in their like 80s or something like that.
Anyway,
Meanwhile,
so
somebody else that you know that you were close to died, and
the point,
it's
right?
it's a very painful.
The point that we're
challenge.
trying to make over here, is that someone that has the knowledge, has the understanding, and is not putting up a fight, he's worse than the squatter of the street corner squatter. He says, "Ve'ein hashmosim gedoleh kol kach b'ma she'en koyev shemitzrom ber keresh lovo. Pachad Hashem hamevin u'mabit kol maseim." Their guilt for not summoning up the fear of God, who knows and sees all their actions, in order to restrain their impulse, which burns like a fiery flame, is not as heinous. Is not so bad. Why? As the guilt of one who draws ever nearer to God, his Torah and his service. He said, what was the issue with Acher? Elisha ben Avuya, the insult to God was so great. Why? Because Acher, it says, Yoda b'chvoidi. He knew my honor. He was close to me. It's like, if someone is betraying the king, again the street corner, it's not such an insult to the king, because the guy's a bum anyway. So who is paying attention to him? But if the minister is betraying the king, so then it's much, the insult is greater. So it says about Acher, Elisha ben Avuya, because he knew my glory, said God. If despite this he still sinned, his guilt is far greater. And therefore our sages declared in regard to the illiterate that deliberate sins are regarded in their case as inadvertent acts, because they really don't know. Since they are unaware of the gravity of the sins.
It mentions guilt being greater, as if like that's like their punishment. The guilt being the punishment.
What do you see guilt?
Right before that.
Therefore, sages declared in regard to the illiterate that deliberate sins are regarded in their case as inadvertent acts, since they are unaware of the gravity of the sins. Oh, you're saying before,
Yeah.
despite this, he still sinned. His guilt is far greater.
Right.
He's more guilty, right?
Okay, so he's more guilty.
Obviously, he's more guilty than a guy that is not aware of what he's doing. But Acher knew exactly what he was doing.
By extension, can we make the following statement? So anybody who knows one halacha and transgress it is in that case. Because he knows, he didn't put a fight.
B'mezid.
He knew.
That's why you shouldn't tell somebody something if you know he's not going to follow what you're telling him. You only have to tell Reacho, someone that is in. He says, or you should rebuke your friend. So it says, if I rebuke a guy, I see a guy comes to shul with a car. Say a guy parks in front of the shul with a car. I said to him, why are you desecrating Shabbat? You live close, why don't you walk? So let's say I don't know the guy, so the chances that he will continue his lifestyle is not going to change by me telling him. Next Shabbat, he shows up with the car again. Now his guilt is greater, right? And why is his guilt is greater?
Because you made it good.
Because he listened to me. Because he heard me.
Yeah,
Because I told it to him. So before I said something, it's better to ask. It's better to figure out, to know the person, and then tell him. Because if you tell him, now he's more guilty because of you. Sometimes it says mutav iyu shogegim. It's better that they should remain shogegim. They'll remember, they will remain inadvertent. It's better sometimes that way. And it says that because since they're doing it over and over again, they're not doing it to anger God. They're ameoretz, they're illiterate. Deliberate sins are regarded in their case as inadvertent acts. With a scholar, the reverse is true. An oversight due to lack of study is judged as being a grave as a deliberate sin. A scholar that makes a mistake, what is he going to say? You say, well, I didn't learn the halacha. Who stopped you from learning the halacha?
No excuses.
Who stopped you from learning the halacha? You got the brain, you should have learned. Thus his failure, what do they say? Is a saying, they say ignorance is a king.
It's bliss.
Ignorance is a bliss. Right? Because sometimes to be ignorant, it's
The worst thing.
yeah, but you don't get the
Don't
same
worry
guilt.
about anything.
You don't get the same
The
liability.
consequences of transgressing one thing or another. So
Yeah.
you don't worry about anything. So it's a bliss in certain sense.
I'll give you an example from the world of nutrition, right? The more knowledgeable you become, the less you eat,
The more problematic it is.
the more problematic, the more questions you ask, the less you enjoy the food. Because even if you eat something that's not good, in your mind you know that you didn't eat something good, and you're thinking about how much poison I just got into my body. And I saw a guy learned all these things about nutrition and lives 80 years. Then you have another guy who lived a lousy lifestyle, and he ate everything. So he also lived 70, 80 years. So you say to yourself, I wasted all those years. When time comes. It's not going to change if I ate broccoli or I ate a steak. So it's like
That's exactly what the person who ate meat told me tonight. Listen, we all have a time.
yeah.
It's not going to change.
It's not going to
I'm
change.
eating meat.
At least he enjoyed his life. At least he enjoyed the time. So it's really, and it's
One
not.
thing I want to answer something to you, Rabbi. Okay? If a person, let's say, he reached this, he's going to live until 80, but from the age of 50 to the age of 80 for 30 years, he's going to live a lousy life because of the quality of his life.
That's what he did
because
before.
when he ate, then he's going to live until 80, but he's going to be suffering all his life.
Right,
And
his
what kind of
the
problem-
quality is not going to be
Yeah.
as good.
So
Yeah,
what,
but it's
what,
like
kind,
broken.
what kind of quality of life this guy has? He's got hypertension, he's got diabetes, he's got this, he's got that.
Right.
He's got to take 36 pills. He has to deprive himself from eating that. He doesn't sleep well.
You're right,
And
yeah.
who knows how he's going
Yeah.
to end up?
But
So-
the problem is that it's not, you don't really get the assurance that if you're going to do A, B, and C, 50 to 80 is going to be a fun
Some
ride.
of them smoke like a chimney,
Well,
and they
right.
smoke and live 90 years old.
That's
I'm very happy.
So
to
how
say
you
that.
figure that out?
Well, my father was a smoker, and he died from problem with the lungs. Okay, so I have an example in front of me. If I follow the footsteps of my father, chances are I may wind up like him. I live an example,
Right.
If
Yeah, but the same token, some people smoke
Now
and smoke
we-
and they live 90 years old.
Okay.
So
okay,
how do you
but
figure that out?
people have different metabolism.
Metabolism.
Yeah.
So
people have different
so it says with a scholar, when it comes to a Talmid Chacham,
On your side with the whole thing
Uh,
we just spoke about.
when it comes to a Talmid Chacham, with a scholar, the reverse is true. An oversight due to lack of study is adjudged as being as grave as a deliberate sin. Not knowing the law is not.
That's not the escape.
Yeah.
Like you say, you
Yes.
people say, "No, I want to learn. I don't want to have to deal with this. If I learn, then I have to do this and this.
Right.
And I don't.
Exactly.
I want to learn.
Right.
A lot of people are like
But
that.
but there's also a saying.
Like
There's
the
also
gurus.
there's also a saying, if you think education is expensive, try ignorance, and
That's
see
expensive.
Yes.
and see how much ignorance
That's
will
what-
cost
that's
you.
what- that's what-
So sometimes,
I just
it's
told
good to
that
educate
I just
yourself.
told the same thing to somebody.
Yeah, by contemplating this, the observant scholar will now be able to fulfill the instruction of the Mishnah, quoted at the beginning of this chapter. Be lowly of spirit before every man. Thereby he will crush his own spirit and the spirit of the Sitra Achra in his animal soul, enabling the light of his soul to permeate and irradiate his body, as explained in chapter 29. And that's the Tanya for Tuesday, the 21st of Adar.